Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It's Garlaanx here bringing you a new Diablo video, and as of filming this video, it is August 2nd of 2024. Diablo 4 Season 5 launches next week on October 6th. These patch notes were posted, and we have some significant upgrade to the unique items in the game. So Blizzard understood that with the new tempering system and legendary gear being more sought after than the uniques in the game, so they decided to do an overhaul on every unique item in the game, taking a deep look at it, and matching the affixes with the effect that it does. So we should no longer have any uniques that have affixes that you typically wouldn't use. Some of these are absolutely crazy. Some of these are actually insane. Specifically the Mythic uniques, I don't want to say that they overdid it. Again, I can see their philosophy on them wanting to, make the uniques in the game rival the new legendaries that we can essentially craft. So today, we're going to look at the preview for these. We're going to look at the Mythic uniques, which aka are the Uber uniques, the multi-class, and the Necromancer. I don't want this video to be an hour long. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the patch notes, all of the patch notes for Season 5, and you guys can look, if you play Barbarian, Druid, Rogue, or Sorcerer, you can look at those independently. So let's go ahead and jump into the Uber uniques here. We have the Starless Skies. You can see on the left is the old version and on the right. So we have a 17.5% attack speed, 12.5 critical strike chance, 12.5 lucky hit, +2 to core skills, and then the effect. So pretty decent. Doombringer, this is one of the crazy ones in my opinion. The old Doombringer, the base affix on it was 17.5% critical strike damage. They changed this to 100% damage, which is insane. 114 all stats, 35% maximum HP, 10% DR, and then up to a 5% chance to heal yourself. And then you're also going to get that innate debuff by using this as well. Next, we have the Druid and Sorcerer Spear. Again, crazy buff. 35% damage to crowd-controlled enemies got changed to 160% critical strike, vulnerable, and overpower damage. You're getting all three of those. 18% all stats, 33% movement speed, 66% resistance to all elements. And then 5% chance to restore 66% primary resource. That's absolutely crazy. The Grandfather, this is just insane. The Grandfather is insane. The innate affix was 35% critical strike damage. It's now 150% damage. 150 all stats, max HP, maximum resource, 300% damage. So by using the Grandfather, you're going to gain 450% damage. And then the 100% doubling your critical strike damage. So I know Barbarians are broken. They've been broken. That's never going to change. Now Barbarians, because they can use multiple weapons, a Barbarian can use the Grandfather and that Doombringer, and their damage is going through the roof. We have the Melted Heart of Selig, lucky hit chance, movement speed, damage reduction while healthy, resource generation, and then we have that effect that it does. 25% resistance to all elements was the old version. Now we have 3% maximum resistance and 30% resistance to all elements. Tyrael's Might, movement speed, maximum resistance to all elements, resistance to all elements, damage reduction, and then we have its normal effect. Andariel's Visage. I think this is either a typo or just a troll. But it has an innate affix of 666% poison resistance. So I think it's just a troll. It could be a typo, but I think it's just a troll. But either way, it's hilarious. But look at the significant increase. It went from 18 all stats to 77 all stats. The 2% lifesteal got changed to life on hit, which is a great quality of life improvement. 10% attack speed changes to 30% attack speed. 10% maximum poison resistance. And then we have the AoE Nova that goes off. Finally, the Harlequin's Crest, aka the Shaco. So they didn't give this one any innate affix on it. They increased the HP on it. They added maximum resources. 2,500 armor, 20% cooldown reduction, and then, of course, the ability of DR and +4 to all your skills. To be honest, out of all of the changes to the Mythic uniques, the Uber uniques, I think the Harlequin Crest got the least buffed, in my opinion. This not having all stats, they took the all stats off of it, kind of sucks. They increased the HP. They added the maximum resource. I would have liked to seen all stats on this. Maybe all stats actually in the innate affix on this. Or the HP could have been an innate affix on it, and then they could have added all stats. I don't know. I think the Harlequin Quest is just a little bit lacking because this still doesn't suit all classes. There's a lot of classes that don't need the maximum resources that would much rather actually have the all stats on this. So that wraps it up for all the new Mythic uniques, aka the Uber uniques. Let's move into the multi-class here. Tibolt's Will got slightly changed, as you can see. I'm not going to read all of these, but you can see it got slightly changed a little bit. Mother's Embrace got slightly changed again. The all stats increased. We have attack speed, critical strike chance, and lucky hit chance. They took maximum life off of this now. X-Fall's Corroded Signet. All stats increased. Vulnerable damage. They increased the damage over the time, which is huge for DOT classes. It was 28% maximum. Now you can get up to a 95% maximum. And it looks like they also increased the proc rate. It used to be a 50% proc rate. It's a 75% proc rate now on the X-Falls. The Butcher's Cleaver. Damage to healthy enemies, 28%, got changed to 175% damage to injured enemies. Azarath, 17.5% critical strike damage, got changed to 85% cold damage. All stats, attack speed, cold resistance, chance to deal cold damage. Banished Lord's Talisman, 10% HP, attack speed, overpowered damage, and it also got core skills, up to 2 core skills on here. Buffed from +1, it can go to +2 core skills. Penitent Greaves has a double roll on this now. Evade grants 125% movement speed. Evade grants unhindered for 2.1 seconds. Movement speed, critical strike against chilled enemies, chill slow potency, cold resistance. Flicker Step here also has a double affix roll now. Attacks reduce evades cooldown. Evade grants 30% movement speed. Movement speed, 300% ultimate damage. Lightning resistance, I don't know why they put this on here. I feel like this could have been removed, but they want to keep it with, you know, Flicker Step maybe entices that it's lightning based. So it has innate lightning resistance on here. And then damage reduction from close enemies. What's interesting is the 300% to ultimate damage. Yen's Blessing. All stats, movement speed, resistance to all elements, resource generation. Razor Plate doesn't look like it was changed, but it was buffed slightly. It was 150% maximum increased damage. Now it goes to 200%. Soul Brand, max life, potion, barrier generation, damage reduction. No one cares about Soul Brand. Fist of Fate, attack speed, critical strike chance, lucky hit chance, and then we have up to a 50% chance. This can actually roll 50% chance, and then if you masterwork it, you can boost that even more. Up to an X amount of percent chance to apply a random crowd control effect for 2 seconds. Pretty interesting. Frostburn now has innate lucky hit chance, attack speed, fire and cold damage, chance to do fire damage and cold damage. Pain Gorgers, attack speed, cooldown, stun, up to 4 basic skills. Godslayer Crown got an interesting buff here. 40 all stats, maximum HP, 60% damage to elites. That rolls as an affix now. Cooldown reduction. Now they reworked this a little bit. You can see on the left here. When you stun, freeze, and immobilize an elite, you pull in all nearby enemies and deal 60% increased damage to them for 3 seconds. Can only occur once every 12 seconds. We know that. That's the Godslayer Crown. Now they added down here, against the bosses, this effect triggers when dealing damage instead. So bosses also count as elites, so you get 60% elite damage, aka damage to bosses as well. And then every 12 seconds, if you roll maximized 60%, you're going to gain 120% damage to elites and or bosses. Insane buff to the Godslayer Crown. I believe the Godslayer Crown can actually rival, like the Harlowin's Quest, for instance, just solely on the damage alone. Temerity, you guys can read it. And then finally we have the Tacits of the Dawning Sky. Again, you can go ahead and really read it. So that's all the multi-class ones. We're going to move on to the Necromancer. Again, I'm not going to go through every class, guys. I'll leave a link of the patch notes in the description if you want to see Barbarian, Druid, Rogue, and Sorcerer. I play Necromancer, so we're going to quickly look at the Necromancers. Black River didn't get that big of a buff in my opinion. It did get boosted a little bit. So instead of life on hit, we get 10% attack speed. They buffed the intelligence significantly. 180 max roll now. 3 corpse skills did not change. 2 to Hued Flesh did not change. And Fueled to Death did change. So Fueled to Death went up by 1. You can now get +2 to Fuel of Death. And they changed the effect a little bit. So it was a maximum of 130% and now goes to 160%. But the size has gone down. So instead of 25% larger, you can get 12.5% larger. Lidless Wall has rolled innate armor on it now, 12.6%. As well as additional armor, Bone Storm Duration, cooldown reduction, and then +2 to Bone Stills. Huge buff on Lidless Wall. Bloodless Scream was one of the most useless Necromancer weapons in the game. So now we have, instead of life on kill, it got changed to 170% non-physical damage. The intelligence got added up to 270, up from 104. Lucky hit chance, freeze duration, and then +2 to darkness skills. This also got buffed too, I believe. Your darkness skills chill enemies for up to 100% and deal 200% increased damage to frozen enemies. Death Speakers, you guys can read it, got changed significantly here. Ebon Piercer also got changed significantly. I can see Blight builds rejoicing in this. One of the main reasons Ebon Piercer wasn't really used is because you can make a necklace that has amplified damage and gloom on it. Well, now gloom was added to it. Reaper's Pursuit can go up to 5, and then Blight itself can go up to 3. It also has 20% chance for Blight projectiles to cast twice, and it can roll 25%. Pretty crazy buff, actually, for Ebon Piercer. Greaves of the Empty Tomb. This is interesting. You can now have desecrated ground for 2 seconds when you evade. You can also get 4 maximum evade charges. Server size. Server projectiles to cast twice. Damage reduction from Shadow DOT. And +6. +6 to Reaper's Pursuit. Mutilator Plate, you guys can read it. All the blood skills on here. It also got a pretty significant buff. Bloodlands deals 20% increased damage. Now it deals 40%. Blood Artisan's Cuirass is the free Bone Spirit spawning chest plate. Howl from Below actually got a significant buff, in my opinion. Lucky hit chance, corpse attack speed, corpse explosion fears and slows, which is irrelevant, but now it has +4 to corpse explosion. So it was a quality of life item that instead of detonating immediately, your corpse explosion summons a volatile skeleton. It's like a heat-seeking missile, essentially, and the damage was increased from 40% to 50%. A lot of necromancers didn't use these gloves because you could make better gloves in Season 4 via legendary gear and aspects and affixes and everything. Now this is in play for Corpse Explosion +4. Cure's Embrace, you guys can read it. Again, blood builds. Deathless Visage for bone builds, Bone Spear. Blood Moon Breaches. Max HP Overpower, Curse Duration, +4 to Curse skills. Literally doubled. Could only get 2. Now you can get 4. You deal 150% increased overpower damage to affected enemies by your curses as well. Increased from 70. Ring of Menlin. Significant buffs here as well. They added raw intelligence to it. 35% damage, 42% maximum roll. I don't know why they posted pictures that weren't max rolls. 90% intelligence max roll, 42.5% damage, 12.5% minion attack speed. But then here's the kicker right here. You can only get +1, but it's to all of them. It's Skeletal Warriors, Skeletal Mages, and Golem Mastery. It's all +1. Finally, the Ring of Sacrilegious Soul. Lucky hit chance, movement speed, +2 to corpse skills, which remained the same. But now we're getting +3 to Grim Harvest, which is interesting. So I don't know if Ring of Sacrilegious Souls is still going to be a key item. It was more of a lazy item just for people not to have to, press their skill buttons. It was just auto casting skills, which was the quality of life. They took the HP off of it though, and added movement speed. I don't know if I agree with that. I would have rather had HP on this item. I would like to see the corpse skills maybe go up by 1. So there it is, guys. Those are the updated items for Season 5 coming next week if you're watching this video. August 6th of 2024, Season 5. So Mythic Uniques, aka the Uber Uniques, the Multi-Class, and the Necro. Again, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to watch Barbarian, or if you want to look at the Barbarian, Druid, Rogue, or Sorcerer. I just didn't want this video to be, you know, an hour long. I didn't want to go in depth on all of these. I personally only play the Necro, so we looked at the Necro. So that's going to wrap up the video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave them below. What's your overall opinion on these? Did they over-buff the Mythic Uniques a little too much? Barbarians are going to be busted again, as always. They nerfed my Necro into the ground, so I'm very angry about that. Shadow Necro is pretty much dead for the most part. The full patch notes, again, will be in the description if you want to go through it. It's pages of patch notes for Season 5. That's all I got for you folks today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys real soon.